Welcome back to Less Than Geek. My name is Travis.
And I'm Peyton.
And today we have our coverage of the final match from the Atlanta X-Wing Regional Tournament on May 30th at FCB Games. They were running a live stream of this match as well. Many people tuned in and watched over the course of like the 14 hours that they were on the air or whatever.
Yeah, the rest of the games we had that weren't on stream because we were off on the separate table, but since it was the only game left, we also recorded it.
Right, yeah, so we had different top 4 and top 8 games. And speaking of, our top 8 game had James on the left here with his dual aggressor build playing against 4 Bs and a Z. And then our top 4 game had Josh on the right here playing the Chiranu Soontir build he has against a another pair different double aggressors, because the top 4 for this event had 3 double aggressor builds, and then just Josh here. But so it was kind of nice that we ended up having like the 2 of them in our previous videos for the elimination rounds here. But so Josh's build here, he's got the standard 35 point Soontir Fidel with push the limit and auto thrusters and stealth device and the title obviously. And then on Chiranu, he's got veteran instincts, engine upgrade, rebel captive, gunner, and Isard. And then James over here has IG, B, and C with they have the heavy laser cannons on both, I believe, right? And HLCs. I mean, HLC's in fire control system. Sorry, I started doing my wrong acronym. Yeah, so one of the IGs has the veteran instincts, obviously is the one moving second right now. And then the other one has stay on target, which we talked about a little bit in our previous video. It didn't seem like it got a whole lot of use.
I mean, you're almost always playing, especially since you're only sitting at 6, so it's not like you have a massive pilot skill advantage against anything.
Right, and the other video we had, he did have the advantage because it was against the swarm,
but
it still didn't come into use that much. I think it also has to do with their dial. It allows you to change which maneuver on that speed you have, but you still have to be set on the speed you need. So, like if they pick like a hard 1, you can't change it. I guess you could, but I don't know. It just seems like the way it works out. Like if you have like a sloop turn programmed in, you don't want to like go straight and not turn around and then be stressed and then have to go straight again or bank and then turn around. It takes forever.
I kind of feel like that card only works for ships that you want the stress on, like the B-wing.
It's obviously best for like Key and Farlander or something like that. They can spend it. But
you're basically just doing it every turn regardless, so you can basically
that's just tailor-made for him. That's just ridiculous. But even on something like Juno equips when she comes out, because she has so many greens and can kind of manipulate her dial as it is, it'll work extra well because you can modify. It's kind of like having a navigator combo with it, where you can change the speed, like what tier you're on your maneuver dial, and then change within that tier, or vice versa.
It's similar to things like that. The K-turning interceptor, where you can just basically do any freaking maneuver.
Yeah, kind of the same idea. Yeah, so things like that. I think if you had it to do over again, you just play an extra veteran instincts. But so like Steve from Less Than Geek here had essentially the same build except just veteran instincts on both. It didn't work out as well for him, just the way that the game went or whatever when they played against each other. But going into it, he kind of had a little bit of an upper hand because both of his had VI, because he played against James in the Swiss and essentially an identical build. So he was able to. He also had 98 points that way to James 99, so he was able to like give him initiative, move both of his after, and stay on target did not get used once in that game either. And just the dice worked out the way they did, or I don't know. I didn't watch the game too closely what exactly happened, but he kind of had that on paper advantage going into it. And like I said, it's not like stay on target did get used. It did something you wouldn't think would going in you'd think this guy had the advantage, but it turned out to be helpful. He didn't use it at all in that game. So
I'm kind of wondering here. because it's an untimed match because it's the last
Right.
round. Like, can you try to just blow up the decimator and just hope you only lose
Yeah,
one aggressor?
it does make it a little different in the finals. We've talked about before, like if this was the top 4 or top 8 or even probably a Swiss game, and unless you're just trying to get max MOV or whatever, you can just kind of focus on the decimator as a more reliable, easier target to kill with the IGs. And then Soontir will be pretty hard to pin down and kill, but himself will struggle pushing damage through on these things by himself in order to kill both of them. Yeah, like if it's an elimination game and you kill that decimator, he has to kill both of them by himself to be ahead on points.
Yeah.
But yeah, being untimed does change that dynamic. It's a tough call. I feel like if you still put him in that situation, eventually he's gonna have to maybe take a risk or make a mistake that will give you that chance to take him out. But maybe not. So maybe you do have to try to get him on the first pass. It's a tough call, and that seems kind of what James is going for here. But then you open yourself up to by pushing in so quickly, so aggressively like that to what just happened there. The decimator boosts by you, and then if that thing gets behind you and is, all of a sudden it's following you, so it's staying close enough to get the mini focus on Cheranu to, if it also keeps you in arc, turn off auto thrusters. It gains all these benefits from if it's tailing you at like range 1 or 2, and it's a ton of free damage and making your aggressors go down way faster.
Not to mention that
for something that you could have relatively easily killed.
Yeah, not to mention that back aggressor probably doesn't have a shot at this point.
Yeah,
just because of that.
Yeah, and it's hard. That's the other thing. It's like you're going all in on that, trying to get fell, and then if you're off by a bit on just your guesstimation or timing or whatever, you still might not get the double shot you're looking for. So it's tough. I'd probably just take the aggressor and try to work from there. Maybe there might be some point later on where maybe you can block fell with one of them and push through a little bit of damage with the other one when he's tokenless or something.
You wonder if Vader's gonna being a better choice in this than Isard is, just for the upgrades that Decimator could have. Because if they're not gonna do anything, they're not gonna go after your Decimator. You might just end up flogging it to death with Vader just to get those extra damage in.
Right.
But since Isard is the choice on this one, I kind of wonder if it's gonna even be really that relevant.
Yeah. Now, Rebel Captive is annoying for the aggressors.
Yeah,
so if they were going for it right away,
all the time.
And that does help. Even if you go for it on the first pass, the thing still maybe slip behind at least one of them. But I still feel like it's kind of the lesser of two evils to go that way. But yeah, Rebel Captive does make it a little bit more unappetizing.
Luckily, he's not playing push the limit on his aggressor, so he doesn't have to worry about it that much.
Mm-hmm.
But since he does have the veteran instincts, that one's going to get all the stress if he's actually going to start going after.
Yeah, that's the other thing. That there's a few little odd things that kind of get in the way when you have the asymmetrical IGs with specifically veteran instincts instead of them both having it or neither having it. Something like that. There, like it seems like
you'd not want to move.
Maybe you'd want to move the other one first,
yeah.
Or shoot with the other one first with the Rebel Captive or some of the other situations. Now, I mean, he was just. I guess that's right. He does have advanced sensors on that one. We were saying that they both had fire control. They're a little more asymmetrical. Now that I think about it, so that one does have advanced sensors. Also instead, obviously, he did the boost first, but. But he barely fit. If that's blocked there and he can't do that, it seems like it'd just be easier just to be able to move the other one first. But yeah, the Rebel Captive is still a pain for them just because if you have a stressed aggressor and then you have somebody that's essentially behind them, there's no way they can shoot them. That turn. They have to go straight or bank or whatever, then turn around in the next one. And, meanwhile, they're just getting turreted from behind.
Now, this is one of those turns where you're thinking, maybe I can kill Sooner right now, or at least
Yeah,
knock
it's
off the
certainly
stealth
tempting.
device.
Yeah. I think here's where it's extremely tempting to take that shot instead of double stressing that, the one that could shoot Soontir. Well, yeah, because I guess I don't think the other one's going to shot on anything, or definitely not after
After a possible engine
possible
upgrade.
boost. Yeah, but I think he's already out. So, yeah, it's definitely not cool to want to double stress him. And what I was just saying about how, if you think about it, if he double stresses that one, the way the Decimator's going, it'll probably get behind him before it's able to turn around, like I was saying. So it does seem like you have to take the shot here at Soontir. And, you do have the gunner effect and the dice and everything. Unfortunately, that one doesn't have the fire control to synergize with that. But, yeah, that first hit on Soontir, you take out that stealth device, it makes it way more appealing to try to stay there, if you do have this opportunity present itself.
There's always that chance you just straight up kill him just because he
Yeah.
doesn't have any tokens. So
Can happen.
not with those rules. Yeah, that's the Decimator.
Yeah, Decimator's a 10, so yeah, there's not getting anything through, so we're going to gunner. And we get the built-in mini focus there. So he had to spend the focus, but
He's not shooting.
yeah, that's the
anyways.
only thing that's happening this round anyway. Yeah, so he's checking both. Decisions.
Just from a personal standpoint, I don't think you can resist firing it Sooner with nothing.
Yeah, even what I was saying about, going for the Decimator first, that's more of a, like, as you're setting up and doing those first couple turns, or the maneuvering, and yeah, that's your initial plan. Once you're in this situation, though, an opportunity presents itself, that's kind of a whole different ballgame.
So you get less enthusiastic when you roll 2 hits.
Yeah, I mean, that is an average roll, though, for an HLC when you're not going to have a target lock or a focus or anything, so.
Yeah, and the question of the second shot, you could change to the Decimator if you felt
Yeah.
that auto thrust was gonna kind of put the kibosh on there.
Yeah, it was cool that he had the advanced sensors boost here, but God, you imagine if, it just seems like right now, if he just had that target lock to help make sure he gets the damage through. I mean, he does get that 2 hits on Soontir, but if he had that fire control, Soontir might have been dead there.
It's like that one maybe you roll 1 into a crit, and then
Yeah.
suddenly it's a
or that.
any kind of ridiculous crit that Sooner doesn't want to get, and then basically the game's over because there's no way that Decimator's going to kill both those IGs.
But still, with the 2 damage on there and the stealth device gone, there's a whole different ballgame all of a sudden. Soontir
And he's got to fly a lot more
has
cautious.
to be very careful now.
So it's still not impossible. You got to be like, well, I can not afford to ram into one of his ships ever again.
Yeah. Yeah, he has to play super defensive with him. Now,
Because you got to assume the one in the back is maybe going to try to get him to ram him again, and the one on the left is going to try to do some sort of S loop or K turn here.
yeah, that seems like a good move to try to close him out. Soontir might be best off maybe just hard turning to the left and trying to just bug out to avoid that.
Yeah. He's definitely trying to catch him here.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, and the thing is kind of it's at all costs, because now that Decimator
he's
is kind of primed to circle around behind these things, and the longer Hefel can just hang on to buy some time, the more free shots that it can get, it might be able to whittle him down enough to stand on its own.
And he will be tokened up at this point.
But he is kind of between a aggressor and a hard place here.
So depending on his maneuver, you could avoid one and maybe get out of the arc of another.
Let's see what he does. So that's a 1 hard. Well, yeah, he's not stressed, so that's kind of what bails him out here. It's like he did ram into a ship, but by the same token, that kept him from getting stressed. So yeah, I was thinking like he was stressed doing the normal selection of maneuvers, having to do it too hard, because you wouldn't want to do that, right? Because you figured that would be a bump.
Yeah, exactly.
But yeah, so having the 1 hard going to the right is an option instead of the left, which is a little better once you do all this.
And then he's going to boost.
Yeah. So he's going to dodge the aggressor on the right and have a good shot on it.
And most likely be out of range from the one on the left.
Yeah. I was wondering if that back corner was barely in range, but we'll see.
I guess that's you kind of give the question as to which way you should boost. Does he want to just try to get that shot in?
Yeah, the other thing is, like, I think he maybe could have barrel rolled a little further forward. I didn't see there, but, if he was just trying to get away and not worry about the shot. But, he was primed to put a hurting on this aggressor in this turn, though. You're talking about turning off all 2 range 1 shots, 8 dice, no auto thrusters.
Looks like he's going to change target lock as well.
Yeah.
On the Desi.
Oh, definitely. So you got 8 dice with Fell's focus. The other guy has a target lock. There's no auto thrusters on any of them because he's actually looking at him with the decimator. He's got the mini focus with Chiranu as well.
Yeah, definitely range
It's going to
1.
be brutal. Yeah. Target lock that.
Didn't get jack.
Yeah. And it's a pretty decent defense roll, so he's only picking off the 1 shield with the crit there. And Soontir is a little annoying because you've got that ability to roll blanks that you can't do anything with since he never has a target lock. And then this is where you really need to be sure. Well, okay, you got the roll with 4 symbols there, so you really got to be sure when you're spending that focus that you're not in range of that back one.
Yeah, but it's kind of hard to tell until he's going to shoot you.
Yeah, so he spends a token there. Yeah, exactly. That's the thing. So some decent evade rolls there, a little above average to kind of bail him out. Of only taking the 3 shields there. That's one of those turns where if that IG just whiffs a couple times, maybe gets 1 evade, that could be brutal.
On the other hand, that he could have just only taken 1 that whole round with Decimator Gunner. You figure it's probably going to land 1.
Yeah.
And then if
Fell whiffed,
it just does
nothing. Fell got a good roll too, so it kind of bounces out. Like I say, usually there's a blank in there that you can't use, so
I would think he's probably happy with only losing the 3.
Yeah. I'll tell you what, this was a fun game to watch. You see the hand there kind of counting the hits and stuff. That's the TO sitting right next to them. Then I was sitting opposite him over here by Josh on this side, just watching up close and watching the strained expressions on their faces and stuff. Because this regional, even by the regional standards, was particularly long. This one, we had 96 players, which, as far as I'm aware, or 94, is still the biggest regional in the U.S. For the season, I think. And they just added time in between rounds and stuff. I think when this game started, it was already 2 in the morning or something. When this game was literally just they're sitting down.
Someone called it 2 in the afternoon, but whatever.
Yeah.
Yeah, they even rented out a separate, storefront.
Yeah, they had to have some extra room.
Doink.
It was a fun event, but yeah, it was nuts. And this was the one where a lot of people kept talking. If you're at some of the other regions, you might hear anybody that travels around. I remember Richard Sue is a player that plays all over the country, and he was there, and I saw him on a stream at one of the other regionals referencing this one, talking about how they didn't have, how hot it was, and they didn't have the AC going. They didn't have AC. They had a bunch of fans set up everywhere. And obviously, in the earlier rounds when it was still daytime.
They never turned on, which blew my mind.
We ended up nicknaming this tournament since it was more than 64 players, and you had to actually, basically finish the tournament just to get the Boba Fett card. That's sort of a participation prize, but there's only 64 of them in a kit. A lot of events cap at 64, so everybody gets one. But this one, a third of the field didn't, or whatever. But, by then, about that many, 30 people had dropped by the end of 6 games anyway. But, But we nicknamed this tournament the Sweat for Fett Regional. You had to, stick it out. Mm-hmm. I think we might have mentioned that in the previous videos for this, but it's worth repeating.
It bears mentioning because of how freaking hot it was.
Yeah. So... this is an interesting position here. Both IGs have kind of, they're stressed from spinning around, or they've regrouped essentially, and they've kind of got the opportunity to switch targets here with Fell bugged out. It's kind of a pretty good, kind of interesting setup on James's part there. Because it almost feels like Josh was like, well, Fell will bug out. He'll probably try to pursue him in some way, and then the aggressor can continue to do whatever it wants, and then it's almost like, surprise, gotcha. I'm going to switch and pound it,
It is kind of what happens with the more evasive ships that lose. He's lost his stealth device. He's like, I can't just fly around.
Yeah.
If they, whip one K turn, I might lose him. So this ends up happening a lot, where the other guy ends up bugging out and just is not shooting, but is not getting shot at.
Yeah.
So now they can kind of gang up on the aggressor.
And he couldn't quite boost out of the way with the way the rocks were. Yeah, he's going to get to shoot first and do quite a bit of damage here.
Especially since one of them only has one shield left, so he can drop possibly some useful crits.
Yeah, still able to get 3 evades with the auto thruster kicking in for that third one and only lose the shield.
He had a token because
I remember sitting there. I'm not sure if the corner of that aggressor might have actually been an arc there, and they're just so used to the auto thruster they didn't think to check it.
Yeah,
and it's super
possible.
late.
Yeah.
But so that could have already pushed a crit through, but it's hard to tell. Might be out. But now for the retaliation, and so one of these is double stressed, and he doesn't really have a choice over which one it is. But we have the last couple shields being peeled off the decimator there.
Yep.
So one more time, straight into the 0 defense. And I think that's just 2 hits.
Yeah, that's what kind of the annoying thing with decimators is like, I got this gunner thing that will never go off. So if I roll a particularly
against it,
unimpressive roll, it's just as going to be
okay. Well, it is a hit and 2 crits. It ends up being a direct hit, which is okay against decimators. I guess you got to pound through that hole eventually, but yeah, one direct hit they don't sweat it too much.
Yeah.
And then the other one's a minor hull breach, which is whenever you do a red maneuver, roll a die to see if you take damage, which does basically nothing against the decimator.
Might as well just been regular hull damage.
So there's 4 hull damage on it. It's exactly half dead at this point. It'll get the little, the free evade kicking in now from Asard. But it's pretty good hurting on it. But again, we're in a situation where those IGs, that decimators kind of got a clear path to just get in behind them again when they can't turn around for a bit.
And the higher pilot skill one is behind. He's on left, so he's going to basically ram into his own. Unless he pulls some...
Well, the one in the back, is the higher skill he had to take the stress for shooting first, but so that means the other one in the front will move out first.
Well, the problem is, even if you don't really have much to move here.
Yeah.
Just because where the rocks are, where the other ships are going to be, and you're stressed, both of them. So.
Yeah, and he could maybe do like a white, like a hard 1 or something, with one of them, or try to, like maybe the back one, trying to turn like this way towards the camera if he thinks the decimator is gonna do like a 3 bank through there or something.
Yeah. The problem is if you get triggering here and you land on a rock, you weren't gonna get shot anyways. You may have just wanted to ram into him because that's the weakened one anyways.
Yeah, and he's got to roll for that damage. He does get lucky there at least. Yeah, I was thinking, I couldn't tell if a 3 straight was going to ram in home or not, but might have still been the lesser of 2 evils. So he's going with the 1 bank.
Yeah, clear one of the stresses off.
Yeah, the other thing is not only was the decimator in a kind of prime position to get him behind him, but
he's going to stay there.
Fell so far away, he's kind of swooping around.
Yeah, Falcon
kind of taking the long way around behind them.
You can probably get a shot with
this turn.
Boost barrel.
Yeah, now. So they're kind of, we're both in that position where the aggressors weren't going to get any shots, and we're just going to get shot from both of them and have them behind them.
Yeah, because even if they try to go after Fell, thinking he was going to swoop back in, they can't turn that way.
Yeah.
It was pretty much exactly what you wanted here, because now Fell's just going to sit behind them.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, the front one can spin around on the next turn, but I guess it has to live that long.
And it'll be probably another pretty telegraph maneuver. I mean, with
definitely.
yet another rock in front of him, he can't. He could probably 4K turn through it, but
yeah, I think he's doing a 3 swoop turn basically towards where Josh is standing.
Yeah,
but
he could boost
but then that sets him up for a pretty bad firing arc.
He could try to advance sensors boost and get a better position, but I don't know if he could even fit with that rock there.
Yeah, that's true. If not for the rock there, he'd have a lot of options. I think that's what's hosing him. But yeah, he can probably do a boost towards Josh there, but then he can't really, I don't think, turn without going off the board there. So
Now, one thing that the Iggy's have going forward is that Sooner's going to be a range 3 shot, so at least
he can maybe turn this way just barely over the rock as well without the boost. But then he's kind of just going right back over it or whatever.
yeah.
All right. Well, the decimator, at least he's given up. You've got the auto thrusters back on for the aggressor again, but the decimator's getting another range 1 shot with
On the weekend
one with the mini focus for a crit there from Cheerne's ability. But he's able to auto thruster out of it. And Soontir is probably Gunner, right? Yeah, sorry. Yeah. So yeah, he was gonna evade that without the auto thruster. He didn't screw himself over on the first shot. It was like 2 evades were enough anyway. He just did the auto thruster. So that is the is that the
Injured
stress? Yeah, it was a stress actually. No, because he just put the stress on there and flipped it down.
The free.
Yeah, so now
Free
so much
stress.
for turning around, huh?
Yeah. Best laid plans.
Man, that's brutal. With everything behind him already, that's just that's terrible.
Man, it's just like the mirror of decimators versus Iggy's. One's care about stress, most of the crits in the deck, and the other one doesn't.
Yeah, not too many.
Yeah, there's probably like 3 that even he cares about.
Yeah, I mean, minus like primary attack would be kind of sucky for the decimator trying to push damage through on these things, but yeah, nothing else is too terrible. Maybe the pilot skill that'd be pretty bad, but yeah, even injured pilot. If he lost veteran instincts, he'd still be an 8. It's funny. I'm not even sure since they don't have any matching, like who has initiative.
Yeah.
But so he would still be moving after one of them, the damage one, and he'd lose mini focus, but he doesn't have that if it's a range 3 anyway. So, I mean, it's definitely helping. But yeah, decimators are pretty. It's ironic that the ship that's kind of most likely to get crits is the most resistant to them in a way. Just kind of the way the ship's built, and then a ship that is fairly resistant to getting crits in the aggressor is so susceptible to their effects. It's kind of an interesting thing, the way the game. I wonder how much of that was intentional and how much of it was just kind of serendipitous.
I mean, you could technically play Iggy's without cannons.
Yeah.
And at least avoid that crit, but
yeah,
I don't think we'll be seeing that often.
Both of these are pretty resilient against blinded pilot or whatever, because both of them have gunner effects that kind of get around that sort of.
Or you do the I'm gonna also equip the ion cannon tech so that when it says discard a secondary weapon, you only lose the ion cannon.
Right. That is a thing.
It's a thing that I have in fact seen happen.
I could even work on a hot shot if you didn't have the inertial dampeners. That's another thing that James doesn't have on these. He doesn't have the inertial dampeners, I don't think. And then that's why he's able to have the extra. Well, no, didn't he double stress that one? I think the one one of them has it, but the other one doesn't. Because it's where he gets the extra point to do like advanced sensors instead of fire control as well.
So unfortunately, that maneuver was not an S loop, but just a regular old turn.
I think we have his exact build card for card in our top 8 video with him. If you want to go back and check that, but he's definitely obviously got the advanced sensors on the stay on target one, and in order to, but he's still below 100 exactly. I think he's still at 99, so I think he has like just 1 dampeners. Otherwise, I don't know why that thing. Well, no, I get double stress from the captive, so yeah, I don't think he has dampeners at all actually.
So the problem with that Iggy now is like, what's he gonna do next turn? He still can't turn around.
Yeah. There's a lot of that going on.
Now the other one can, obviously.
Yeah.
But
you just gotta hard one a couple times.
That's so bad.
Well, hard one and a boost maybe kind of sort of gets him back in the fight, depending.
I mean, just like having.
But yeah, it's rough.
I mean, it's literally that crit just went like, "Hey, you have any plans? Why don't you forget those?"
Yeah. And Josh was trying to like guess down here, like, what is this Iggy gonna do? I guess I remember this moment what he'd actually forgot, I think, that they had a 1 hard.
Mm-hmm.
So he was like just thinking too hard. He's like, man, I don't think you can stay on the board. Then of course it does one hard, and he's like, oh right, they have that.
So forgot they have every maneuver.
Yeah. Which it's funny because I mean they don't do a ton of hard turns, you know, doing all their
Because they
K turns and
really
greens and stuff.
Yeah.
So, you know, he'd played. This was at least the second game against them, and that's if he didn't play any during the Swiss, and he probably ran into one.
You would think, but
I would think, but maybe not. Yeah, maybe not. There was a fair amount of that, but you know, he did at least play in the top four. So, but yeah, it's also super late and everything. So, yeah, I guess he just forgot they had a hard one, and he was like, "Well, I guess I'll put him here to get a shot on you if you do stay on the board somehow." But that was what he was kind of looking at, or pointing, or saying when he was kind of like how people kind of think aloud. Mm-hmm. That's what he was saying that when he was tapping the board there. He's like, I don't think you can stay on with that too hard. And then James was just like straight poker face over there.
I would venture to say you could also stay on with it too hard.
Yeah. I mean, I don't remember his exact words. He might have been like, you know, well, that's really close, you know, trying to figure it out. Okay, so decimator, range 1.
Continue to decimate.
Getting the auto thrusters at least, boom.
But not that great of a roll.
And evade token with the free boost, so you know, it's still
what you want.
Takes the shield off at least.
Yeah, it's still what you want. Only losing the 1 damage to a range 1 gunner.
Yep. So yeah, it's pretty much going to happen. There's a blank for Soontir, so that ain't doing anything. But you can't auto thruster, so he's got the evade token there. He's taking 1.
Yeah, he's not.
And
he's
it
not
is
dead.
a crit.
He's not dead.
Yeah, and it is a crit, and that one is injured pilot.
Yeah.
So now he loses stay on target. Oh no!
Mm-hmm.
But more importantly, that one is IGB. That's the gunner one. So that ability is gone from both of them.
Almost ironically, I don't think it matters because
you
would think this one probably is going to die anyways, so the other one was going to lose his ability anyways.
Right. Yeah.
It might if you can. Maybe if the left one can S-loop and maybe try to get a shot on Sooner.
Right.
But I don't know if that's...
While the other one's still on the table? Yeah.
Like if it just doesn't get killed by Sooner, because I don't think the Decimator is probably not going to shoot at him.
I think he might be able to do that, but that's still pretty far away, so it just seems like Soontir would be able to probably find a way to
keep at a range
move
3.
out of, or even just move out of range entirely or something.
Yeah.
Yeah. So there's the hard one, and he's like, oh, okay. And boost back. Yeah, I'd argue that the free evade ability of the boost is probably the better of the two at the moment.
Oh, especially right now.
Alright, this one's going around. I guess he figures Soontir is probably pursuing that one. Maybe this is my chance to, if he boosts around to try to catch him.
The problem is that I don't think Soontir would even get caught by that. Not to mention that you probably can't boost because of the rock.
Yep.
I mean, definitely won't catch Sooner.
So now his arc is all sorts of jacked up.
Yeah, with that arc shot, he's probably not going to be catching anything.
Yeah, I mean, if he pretty much needed to to have a shot on the Decimator, he would have had to do a S loop to, I guess, the ship's left from the way it was facing before at the start of the turn. So it'd be in about the same position it is now, but pointed towards that Decimator.
Yeah.
But then, and if the Decimator, you probably figure the Decimator's doing like it too hard this way to kind of stay in the fight. And I think that would set it up in a way where it wouldn't be able to like boost out of the arc or whatever, and you could at least get some solid damage on that thing. Because again, it's half dead, so he just hasn't really been able to stay on it.
Well, I think one of the best things you can do is for your first shot go for Sooner, and if you can't strip any tokens off before you gunner, then you just switch to the Decimator if you have both.
Oh yeah, if you have both an arc, that's just ideal, but that just so rarely happens.
He might have if, depending on where that S loop landed him.
Yeah.
But now the Decimator is going to continue to probably boost and wail on him in range 1.
Yeah, you're just giving it such free damage when it's a relatively reliable thing that you could take it out if you're focusing on it. That's just why I feel like you got to go for it.
Or at least cripple it enough so that you could kind of leave it in the dust with enough, couple relevant crits, and then you can kind of ignore it for a little bit.
Yeah, okay, so
it's like, do I target lock now, or do I wait till the gunner?
Yeah, I think you just let it ride and then gunner, which is what happens there. All right, so we're pushing
Auto thrusts, I guess.
nothing through once we get the evade down. Or no, 1. Okay, yeah.
Still wondering. He's like, did he at least check for front arc?
Yeah.
I don't think it hasn't on that one, but
No.
it's always at least a consideration.
Right. Yeah, that one looks a little more out. Soontir not rolling any blanks. He's able to focus for 4. Just brutal when he knows he's on arc.
Yep.
So that looks like 1, 2. I think he's done, right? Or no? Okay, I guess that other one was I thought it was an eyeball.
Yeah.
He's hanging in there.
But the problem with what's happening now is the problem you have a lot just against evasive builds. You just took a bunch of damage and didn't do anything back.
Yep. Yep, and it sucks to be splitting the damage between the 2 Imperial ships and not taking one down. But, and then it seems like every round we're like, oh, this is a round you have to go for this one. This is a round you have to go for that one. But that you're being so reactive at that point, kind of like, oh, the opportunity presents itself to go for this target, so you need to do it that round.
Mm-hmm.
That's where I feel like, having that plan at the beginning and you go for the decimator and focus on it, you can kind of stick to that on the first approach, get it down, and then not be in the situation where you're bouncing back and forth.
Yeah.
Just have one of them off the board.
And this is one of those things where the Iggy's have kind of, at this point, you've played against enough Iggy's to know he's probably S-looping. He's probably going to engine upgrade first. So you can kind of build your maneuver. Mm-hmm. And at this point, the Sooner could probably just get out of range completely.
Yeah. He
just glide on the edge of the board.
The other thing is, like, since this one's not really able to turn its arc too sharply. Oh, yeah, okay, that one has advanced sensor, never mind. So he was able to do the hard turn. Yeah, that actually works out pretty well. I was thinking he was like doing a bank boost. And then Soontir could slip in, like, head too hard the other way, barrel boost, on the side of that one. But this is, I guess, figuring he was going to do a hard turn around there and do the arc, this is probably better. But this is an interesting situation here, though, because he's turning Soontir into the one that's basically more or less full health.
Yeah.
Because he's going to be able to potentially focus on it with both of them, and start it down. Because that could be okay. Like, even if Soontir goes down this round, if he's able to slap 3 or 4 damage into this one, and then it's Decimator versus one with 1 health and one with like 2 or 3, he might have a chance still, but that's risky. And of course he's contemplating, can I slip by this thing without flying off the map?
I certainly remember watching this part.
Yeah.
Somebody's like, I don't know if he can get past it or not. I'm like, oh, I know.
Yeah, right now, he just can't barrel roll forward, towards himself.
Yeah.
Barrel roll that way is not good. He can boost.
You don't want to boost first because you won't be able to barrel roll out of his arc. I don't think.
Yeah.
Like, your best bet is to barrel roll first to get a better angle for your boost, to try to go past him. And if you can't get a better angle, then you just focus up.
Yeah, I think it's worth just turtling up here and going with it.
The one thing to think about is you would actually rather be range 1 against a gunnering HLC Iggy, because then they can't gunner you.
With no decimator behind you.
Yeah.
Yeah, and I don't think the other thing to consider is if he's somehow in range or arc of the back Iggy way over there. I don't think he is at the moment.
It shouldn't be.
Because then he could at least have maybe barrel rolled this way or something, and then he'd still have one focus with one evade, and you could just use him for defense. But yeah, as long as you know you're safe, then you can get that extra one for offense too, which I think he's okay.
Incoming.
Also, it's a little hard to see the angle on the arc here compared to where he's standing.
Yeah.
Yeah, it always looks so weird with the Decimers. You're like, man, how are they not on there just because of the model?
Yeah.
But
the model's way over.
Yeah. From whenever you watch them on camera, as opposed to when you're like standing there, they always seem like that.
The continued unchecked decimator rampage.
Yeah, and another just let it ride and let him evade his way into giving you that reroll. He's going with the target lock now.
Yeah, he was contemplating.
Yeah, it's a tough call.
I don't know, there's always that chance they just roll triple triple blank or even triple eyeball because he doesn't have because he had the evade from the boost, not the.
Yeah, or
so he doesn't have focus.
And the tokens are optional and everything. So yeah, it's like if there's a chance, obviously on 3 dice they don't roll an evade, and you're like, okay. Checking for range 1. Looks like it was.
Mm-hmm. You'll find out real quick.
Yep. Oh man. Well, I don't see any blanks in there, so you know what that means.
Yeah, Soontir is not.
Soontir's rolling pretty hot. That's 4 range 1 shots where I think he had a blank. He had like 1 or 2 blanks on one of them. And then the other 3 were all legit.
Yeah.
So all of a sudden, that one is taking a whole damage. Or is it 2?
Yeah, it's 2.
Oh, man.
It's
that crit is the 0 pilot skill, which it doesn't really do anything right now.
I mean, it is the Veteran Instincts one, so it's kind of...
Yeah, it's kind of like flip the order that the IGs move in, which is weird.
Which is not as important since they're not near each other.
Yeah. I guess the order they shoot in as well, so... there's 3 hits there.
And he's got a bunch of tokens, though.
Yep. And he's able to get out of it.
And then no gunner.
Yep. So things are definitely looking dire for James at this point. 2 hole on one and 1 on the other.
You're like, oh, why didn't I put a bomb on my aggressor?
Right. Yeah. Nice little seismic charge on there to pick off Fett. 1 time. Yeah, or Fell. So Fell's got 1. I like how the Decimator is the only ship on the board with more than like 2 health.
Yep. That's not what you want.
Yeah. But yeah, obviously the hull can go down quick on that thing. So it's pretty intense. I'd say, Josh obviously has the advantage right now, but that the far IG's gonna be in a pretty good position though, coming back around.
I was like watching people statue where they're looking at the board, but they're like in a weird position and they just don't move, and you're like, did it freeze?
Yeah. Yep. But so this one, I guess you're looking at the one in the thick of things down here, pulling some sort of S loop or whatever, maybe even a straight K.
Yeah, top one's stress, so it's...
Yeah, top one's just going to bank down.
Yeah. You kind of wonder how fast he's going to go, because if he goes too fast and he lets the Decimator get in a range of one of him, he's definitely trying to not die before he gets a shot off. So that's probably his biggest concern, but he needs to go fast enough because he probably wants to just try to finish Soontir off before, sooner or later.
So I guess I was wrong this whole time. I guess they both have advanced sensors. That's right. Okay. Yeah, so there were so many builds, and there were some that were like more asymmetrical and all.
So he went slow enough to stay away.
Advanced sensors cool. It gives you a lot of tricks with them, of course. But man, it just when you have the 4 dice of the HLC, it just feels like it needs to be like, focus target locked, or at least free target locks, like just to maximize it.
If you're not lazy, you can focus target lock with the aggressor.
With like push a limit or whatever. But
you just target lock last turn.
Well,
and then focus
that too.
This turn.
Yeah. Well, that's gonna happen every once in a while.
The old man's way of FTLing.
The wave 1 days.
Yep.
It is gonna happen every once in a while, but yeah. Okay, so Fell was just barely able to sneak through there with a 2 bank.
Yep.
And it's time for him to just kind of hide down in this corner. Do a little piecing of the out.
He's probably gonna, is a boost just a guarantee that he's not in range 3 of that. He shouldn't be where he is, but
yeah.
Or maybe he's gonna try to get his Decimator ram into him so he doesn't land on a rock. Because that's also a concern, I suppose.
It is. So Decimator's going straight, it looks like, which means he is going straight into Fell.
Mm-hmm.
Boom. I don't think he's on the rock, but maybe.
Again,
I have no idea where the rock is.
Yeah, I haven't even seen the rock in like an hour. I don't know, it looks like a rock from here.
Yeah. The TO is right in there. He's on it. The TO is right in there, and they're trying to just like drop the Decimator straight on it. So yeah, that could be enough to turn the game here a bit. free point of damage, no shots for
Either
Josh
of them.
this round.
Yeah. It's kind of reverse of what it was a couple of rounds ago where Iggy's weren't shooting.
Yeah, if only that one Iggy had been able to turn around and take a shot on the decimator.
I think they're talking about whether or not he still gets the Assard evade.
Oh, okay. He does, but I think just unfortunately they went with the wrong ruling here. That does happen sometimes. It's a relatively minor fine tooth comb kind of thing. So when you're or when you go over or land on a rock or whatever, you skip your perform action step of your maneuver, but you're still allowed to perform actions. Period.
Yeah, but Assard's
With a debris cloud, you wouldn't because you'd be stressed.
Assard's at the beginning of the combat step.
Yeah, she's at the beginning of the combat phase. So they were saying you're not allowed to perform actions on rocks at all. Mm-hmm. But that's just not the wording. It's skip your perform action step. So at the beginning of the combat phase, you can still do that. There was even an article FFG put out that was showing that if you say you had a SARD and an engine upgrade, and then you had push a limit, you could actually intentionally fly on a rock to kind of just for arc dodging purposes. And then at the start of the combat phase, you've got Assard's free evade. You could do that and then push the limit off of that to boost in a situation like this for again just kind of getting around your opponent purposes.
Tell you what would be really good right here: inertial dampener.
Yeah,
because the decimator would ram right back on that rock.
That would be awesome. Yeah. Yeah, that decimator took a solid hit, so all of a sudden it's down to I think about 3 whole.
It should be he took 4.
He took 4, yeah.
And he had direct hit.
So he took 5 that turn.
He should have
from the rock because he was down to 8.
Yeah.
Well, I guess he. Oh right, because they didn't give him the Assard. I was like, he should have taken 3 because Assard, right? That whole thing we just went over.
Yep.
So yeah, he's down to 3 at the moment.
Well, I don't know about going fast with that.
Yeah. Maybe he feels like the back one is kind of sufficient to catch the decimator for one more shot here. He's thinking that can finish it, and then that one can try to go for fell. But I don't know if we should be trying to get them both at once here. Because that's the other thing. You figure the decimator gets off the rock, it has a SARD.
Well, the problem is you only
that
have
back one has to land 4 hits to kill it at that point.
Yeah, but the back one also only has could technically get killed if that decimator goes past. It does maybe a 3 bank.
Yeah, that too. It could shoot first and kill him.
Yeah, just kills him.
There's that too.
A relevant crit or something.
And if he doesn't land 4 hits and take out the decimator, even if he does survive the decimator's attack with a gunner,
then you probably want to be at range 3 with Sooner.
Yeah.
It's Sooner's going to have a range 2 shot on you and you don't auto thrust? No thanks.
Yeah. It's not like the other one's super healthy either, so.
Yeah.
There will be blood.
Mm-hmm.
Something bad's about to happen here.
You kind of expect that if he got the the decimator ram his Iggy, he's probably in a better position.
Hmm.
But
that
if it
barrel
just goes
there
past
is a
him,
little curious.
Yeah, it's
I think he's even kind of saying that. He seems like I guess he was like, well, I'm gonna play it safe. I guess he thought maybe he could try to boost out and just go passive with Fell, just go past that with the decimator here. Nope. I guess he knew he was gonna ram into it, but just not give the front Iggy a shot. But I think he even said at the moment, I should have barreled forward if I was gonna do that. Because he barreled back. If he went barreled forward a bit and then boosted straight, he probably could have gotten out. Actually, what he should have done, he should have boosted to the right towards it,
and then
barreled sideways.
Left.
Yeah, or he could have done that boost to the right and stayed there and tokened up and had a shot. But again, it's been a 14-hour day and it's super late. So, but as soon as he did that barrel back, he was kind of like, oh, I should have done this or that or this or that, So Decimator's got a range 3 there. Doesn't matter that it's an arc. I mean, that's a huge swing because it's not just about the attack dice and the auto thrust and shit and all that. You're also losing the sheer no ability and
he also
a lot of things.
He's been used to rolling 4 dice most of this game.
Yeah, there's a lot on the line there. Yeah, and then he blinks out on the gunner shot, so it did survive. It's got a chance to HLC back and
probably
drop it. Yeah.
You should have a Sard this time.
Well, yeah, it might be under there.
Yeah, again.
Yeah, who knows?
Massive
Okay,
ship.
so this is the shot down on Fell. And that is 4 hits, it looks like. But Fell has all his tokens.
And
Auto thruster 1, no other blanks, spend everything.
Take no damage. Yeah, but
Well,
the problem
actually, he
is,
still has a focus.
the problem is
And
he
the
lost,
gunner ability's gone.
Yeah, that's the problem. He lost
Right
his
now,
gunner
that
ability.
crit matters.
Yep.
That may have been it right there.
Yeah, you strip
'Cause
all his
they're-
tokens,
yeah.
and then suddenly you get another HLZ shot.
That's the shot we were talking about. They would get it while he's on the board. Yeah, but of course he had no tokens himself, so because he spent it. So if he throws those 4 dice, maybe he whiffs anyway before you even get to green dice,
Yeah, it's
because
like
he doesn't have that fire control.
If you ever want to feel better about an opponent's like really good roll or your really bad one, it's like just assume your opponent did a ridiculous roll. They're like,
Yeah.
oh man, I rolled 4 dice and only got 1 hit. Just assume your opponent rolled 4 evades.
Well, there's 4 coming in, and you got the evade with a Sard and 3, and he's dead.
Yep.
So that Decimator should still be running around with 1 health left with the Asard from the previous turn. I'm not sure. That seems like it wouldn't matter, because you'd be... That other one's double stress. If you can move and boost past him,
Well, just the
He
fact
could
that he's
be
going to
behind
shoot.
both of them.
He's going to shoot first, anyways.
yeah, that too.
If nothing else, he would probably deal the killing blow on the 1 health one.
Yeah. Yeah, it doesn't even matter. They can get behind it. You just...
Smoke it.
I don't even think he would actually be able to shoot the Decimator again on the next round and finish it, though.
Yeah, just what positioning he was at.
I mean, this one might have been able to block him,
Yeah.
so maybe, and then the other one spins around. That would probably be the best case scenario, because then he wouldn't be able to shoot and kill the one that's blocking him either.
Probably could do an
yeah.
interesting engine upgrade / boost sloop. I always call it engine upgrade, even though it's
Yeah.
just on the card. But to get past,
Yeah.
a bunch of stuff.
Yeah, so it looks like the Decimator still there might have rammed into the front one and be getting killed by the back one, but it's still, he'd still have to do it, and it would be... Yeah, I mean, Fell's probably going to get it out of the back one's arc anyway, so that it wouldn't have had another shot anyway, but...
Yeah.
But still, the Decimator would have gotten to take a shot at the back one, and you never know what would come of that. It's injured pretty badly too, so...
The problem is one of the back, being double stressed, they can't engine upgrade, or it would have gotten at least a decent chance of covering the blind spots of the other 80.
Yeah. Yeah, that too. So, Fell's on the perfect spot here.
On a almost dead 80.
Once again, he's got the chance to do a ton of damage if he can just not roll any blinks in there and use all his eyeballs.
I also remember this roll, like standing
Yeah.
5 feet back. Because this was, it's pretty late in the day.
Oh, yeah. We're getting down to it here. You got 3 ships on the board that after, let's see, this shot here. Oh, okay, that was one. I was thinking I had them backwards. I was thinking that was the other one that had 2. Or, you know what I mean?
No, he's the one with 1.
Yeah, but yeah, so now we've got a 1 health Soontir versus a 2-hole IG.
Yeah, I remember when they rolled it, and everyone's like, oh! When he rolled good hits.
Yeah. Yep. So...
And this game had been going on for a while because we're speeding up in between.
Yeah.
And it's almost at an hour, just, the video we're watching.
Yeah, I'd say this game in real time was probably
it was long.
an hour and a half, if not a little longer even.
They came out of the live stream room and told us how long the match was.
I don't remember what
I
they
think
said.
it was like an hour and a half, an hour 40 or something like that. It
somewhere
was
in there.
Maybe hour 25 or something.
I mean, you're doing 75-minute rounds at regionals anyway when they are timed.
Yeah.
So, there's an extra 15, 20 minutes added on that. 5 minutes of that's probably people just taking more time to seriously contemplate their maneuvers and stuff at the final round.
Yeah.
But yeah, or just talking about things more, kind of horsing around or something because they know they're not timed. All right, so we get the advanced sensors. Or no, sorry, they're just. It still had 1 stress. That was a green bank and then a boost after. Doing the old man boosting, not advanced sensors. Okay, so Fell is going to 2-bank into him. It's like, how much would it suck for Fell to land on a rock and die?
It's like all that and then.
That is not a good position for Fell to be in. Now, I think he can. And he's trying to probably think if he barrel rolls this way, which is exactly what he's looking at.
Yeah.
Back this way, then he can boost back towards Iggy and kind of joust with him.
But that's not what you want to do.
Yeah, it's so risky. You know, he's got a. Yeah, that Iggy has 2-hole in and evade token. So. And he would have just the 1 focus token. So if he. You know, even if he rolls a bunch of hits and he spins it and the thing lives and he's just naked with 1 health. Ugh. I think he's going to do it, though. Like, I guess he probably figures he can't get out the other way.
Yeah, he's not going to be able to go forward enough.
I mean, maybe you just token up there.
Just also have the evade token.
Yeah. Oh, man. Yeah, I hope he at least got arc after doing that. Jesus. You know, might not.
Yeah, just from this angle, he might not. Yeah, laser.
Oh, yeah. I was like, here, I got a laser. Here, I gave it to the TO. It was a TO, but.
That wasn't you.
No, I had one sitting there, though.
Why'd that laser look pink then?
Okay, never mind. I thought it was it. All right, so he didn't have it. That's not good. So this is where he needs to not roll any blanks or the game is over. And he gets it.
Yep.
So James can't believe it, and everybody just went nuts there. I mean, we still had maybe about 10 people left, counting the people that run the store and everything.
Yeah.
Yeah. So that was nuts. Like he had to roll 3 symbols, or that's it. Tournament over.
Yep.
And he pulls it off. Right before he rolled that, though, he just said, "Oh, it's Soontir. It'll be fine." Yeah, he's just so nonchalant about it. Like Josh is just so laid back. He goes, "It's Soontir. You just gotta believe." And then he rolls it, and we're like, "God." That's verbatim what he said. This was probably about the point that people were pointing out at when they saw on the stream that he looked like Castro or whatever with his old imperial hat and beard and everything.
Yeah. Ah, yes, this point of the match.
Yeah. So where he got his nickname. Yeah, this is where it gets ugly. So Fell did a hard turn in there that doesn't clear. So now they're sitting here trying to figure out what to do.
It's like, well, he can't really... You can't do any, like, S-loop shenanigans or anything like that. He's got a hard turn, basically. Hard 1, hard 2, something like that.
Yeah, that's his only choice. Anything else is basically putting him off the board.
And Sooner can probably bank. You can't really hard turn because it'll just land back on Iggy's.
So what's happening here is that they're both doing hard 1s. So Sooner is doing a hard 1 to his left, which is obviously running into the IG, and he's just not going anywhere from that. And the IG is doing a hard 1 to its right, which is not quite clearing Soontir either. And it's just kind of a game of chicken. Now, I remember seeing this, and since this is an untimed match, thinking, oh my God, this is the worst thing that could ever happen.
12 hours.
They could do this forever. And it was already so long and so late, and we had to drive back 6 hours or whatever, and we were like, oh my God, this is a nightmare. After they did this for 7 turns or whatever. I mean, these turns were pretty quick. We're obviously fast forwarding it here, but a lot of them they just like put it down and I'm staying. Are you staying? Yeah, I'm staying. And then they like sit there and think about it for a minute. And you're like, all right, they're gonna break it, and then they just do it again. You're like, oh my God. But yeah, the IG doesn't really have much of a choice. He could do it too hard, and that would probably clear. So that's sort of his out, but that's not that different than what he's picking.
I don't think too hard.
Yeah, too hard.
His back might land on him.
It's close. Yeah, it's hard to say.
He did do a smart maneuver of target locking him at some point during that.
Yeah, I mean, it was definitely worthwhile for him to do this like once to get the free target lock. I mean, not free, but the advanced sensors target lock him and then do this so that he has it for later. But yeah, after that, eventually this is down to Soontir has to do something like this to break this. Otherwise, it's just gonna happen. The IG doesn't have as many options. He's not flying off the board here.
I remember you talking about how we're not totally sure if that Iggy should not be moving.
Yeah, I mean, I was saying that at first, but no, it wouldn't move. Even with the way that you deal with the big ships, it wouldn't move in that situation. So, yeah, that wasn't really a factor, at least. So,
this is a little more interesting, like maneuver-wise, what you have to kind of do, just because those rocks are kind of screening.
Yeah. Yep, the asteroids are always a factor, of course. Soontir's definitely got the advantage here. He's able to kind of just fly circles around them.
We gotta assume that some sort of either 4K or S-Loop is going to be coming out.
Yeah. He's definitely got a free shot on this turn, though. And, there's only 2 holes, so it could be it. Yeah, range 1, of course.
It's like he either has to roll pretty well or the opponent has to roll terrible. Which,
to get 2 get 2 hits through in 1 shot on them, I think you have to roll well and have them roll terrible.
Yeah, we've seen some pretty good...
I mean, there's no auto thrust or anything. It's just and evade token.
Yeah.
It's not like having a focus and auto thrusters and all this stuff. So
yeah, not doing nothing.
That's not doing anything. Yep. All right. Well, now he's going to be able to spin around and have the.
You assume because some people just don't. They're like, I'll find a different place to turn. It's like.
Yeah. Now you want to advance sensors here for the focus, and then there it is. It's like boom, FTL shot. This is it. But I'm almost tempted to advance sensor as a boost and then do it just to go as far as possible. It makes it where it's harder for Soontir to slip out of your arc.
It's one of those things where you gotta be like, I gotta predict what my opponent is doing, but is my opponent predicting what I'm gonna do?
Yeah.
Because the obvious maneuver is, I guess it's not obvious because you could just do an S loop and assume you get a better arc.
Yeah.
Like more coverage.
Yeah, it's interesting. You boost that way and then S loop the opposite way.
Yeah, and just kind of move to the right.
Yeah.
Or move up.
Yeah.
But this is a boosted 4K.
Yeah, that's actually an interesting way to do it too. That might be better than I was thinking. Like boosting straight and 4King straight and just going way down there.
Yeah, just doing like a 7.
That might be better. But I think it sets him up to kind of pursue a little bit better.
But I would say the problem is that he could probably just get completely out of range at this point. Just barrel over to the right and he's out.
Maybe.
Or to his left, I suppose.
Yeah, I think if he barrels back into the left, he might be out. I think you just do that and focus evade and see.
Yeah, because I don't think... I mean, if he had just done a regular K-turn, just a regular 4K turn and not done nothing, or even the boosted K-turn straight, you probably couldn't have got out of it.
Yeah, I think boosting straight would have moved him like further away, kind of. But
I mean, it would be range 3.
Maybe if he just did a focus and then 4 straight, yeah.
I mean, it'll be range 3, so auto thrust, and he'll have all the defensive tokens, and you don't have a gunner, but that's probably about as good as you're gonna get at this point.
Yep. Yeah, I think Soontir's good there. Just time to focus evade and see if you're in range or not.
His target lock's way the hell over.
Yeah, Soontir's all over the damn place. It's the only target lock he's used this game, so they're probably just not used to it. Yep, just get them tokens, thinking about it. Yep, there it is.
So there's no way that's range 3.
Yeah, he's out. So now
you used your K-turning trump card. It's like...
It's kind of tough.
And the problem is wherever you go this turn, you might kind of limit yourself the turn after that for another K-turn.
Yep.
And he's probably also going to range 1 you at some point in that scenario.
It's brutal. If he'd gone straight, he could have not been as limited in the future on the next K-turn. He's just kind of going up and down. But that if here he might be able to do like some banks or something that are useful, but it's pretty tough.
Well, the problem is with any banks now, Sooner is just going to fly past you or get a shot and fly past you.
It's like you need almost just 1 straight maybe.
Yeah,
and then on the next turn maybe you can do like a advanced sensors boost bank, S loop, and then after that really try to pursue him. Like the Soontir can just turn so sharply, though. Like, the turning radius on the IGs isn't super tight, other than, I mean, you know, that they could do like white hard turns or whatever, but it's hard. You know, they do these big, long ranging S loops and stuff, and you know, against slower ships, they're able to kind of like keep them sort of in this kill zone where they're going way out this way or way back out the other way, but they're always kind of shooting that area in the middle. Soontir doesn't really sit there. He just stays too close to you, turns around on you too sharply. It's just so hard for them to get shots on him. And so at this moment here, I remember James was contemplating 2 or 3 different options, and also trying to guess, I guess, if Soontir's just doing the too hard, kind of going into the fight, or if Soontir's bugging out in some way. But yeah, James is contemplating all sorts of different things.
I'm assuming a bank 2 from Sooner.
Yeah.
Probably leave him with the best options of getting around him.
Yeah. And, you know, we have it sped up here. There's definitely several minutes there. And you know, and it's like the end of the finals. This is, you know, big deal. So he was contemplating all sorts of options. And I think he ends up feeling like maybe this wasn't the best choice.
Because, like I said, if I assume he's, in which I was assuming he's doing soft 2, he ends up doing hard 2.
Yeah.
But either way, like any 2, you're literally just going, hey.
I'm not sure exactly what he was going for with that one. I you know, maybe he was just like, okay, I can just block him, and then in the future, you know, we can go at it. But
the problem is block what maneuver?
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, I don't know if he just way misjudged where that would put him.
Yeah.
But yeah, that's the last shot there, and he goes down. I'm still trying to figure out exactly where he was meaning to go with that, and I don't know. I remember he was saying something like, all right, I'm going to take a risk here, you know, something like that. But yeah, even looking at that, it's hard to figure out exactly what he was going for with that.
Just looking at his hand, you know, gestures, it looked like he was doing some sort of, he thought he was going to do some sort of like 4 straight or something.
Okay,
Soontir
yeah,
was. I don't know what you were doing.
I don't know what that was simulating there. But anyway, some sort of National Geographic thing with the ships there. But all right, well, congratulations to Josh, Baron Soontir Fidel, winning the Atlanta Regional with his spirit animal there. And we will end up seeing him again in the North Carolina one, which fortunately we don't have the video of here. We just did the live stream and interviewed him. But, you know, he's good people and a friend of the channel, I guess. So, Yep, that's it for this. Our next X-Wing coverage will be, I guess, Gen Con stuff. Yeah, and hopefully we'll get up some regional coverage from some of the other games. So if you liked it, give us a thumbs up and subscribe, and we'll see you next time.